The study of human influence has captivated philosophers, psychologists, and social scientists for centuries. From Niccolo Machiavelli's observations on power dynamics in Renaissance Italy to modern neuroscientific research on decision-making, we find consistent patterns in how humans respond to certain psychological triggers. This document examines these patterns not as manipulation tactics, but as fundamental aspects of human nature that, when understood and applied ethically, can enhance personal magnetism and social effectiveness. The foundation of genuine influence rests not in deception or coercion, but in understanding the deeper psychological needs that drive human behavior. When we examine attraction, whether romantic, social, or professional, we discover it operates on principles that transcend gender and manifest across all human interactions. The key lies in recognizing that true influence emerges from authentic strength, emotional intelligence, and the ability to create value in others' lives. Consider the phenomenon of presence. Some individuals enter a room and immediately command attention, not through loud proclamations or dramatic gestures, but through an ineffable quality that draws others toward them. This magnetic presence stems from several psychological principles working in harmony. First, there's the principle of congruence, when someone's inner state aligns perfectly with their outer expression, creating an authentic resonance that others instinctively recognize and respond to. Second, there's the scarcity principle, when someone appears selective about where they direct their attention and energy, that attention becomes more valuable to those who receive it. The concept of strategic ambiguity plays a crucial role in developing this magnetic presence. When someone maintains an air of mystery about their intentions while remaining genuinely engaged in the moment, it creates psychological tension that the human mind finds compelling. This isn't about being dishonest or manipulative. Rather, it's about understanding that revelation of self should be gradual and intentional. The person who shares everything immediately leaves nothing to discover, while the one who unfolds gradually maintains ongoing interest. Emotional regulation represents perhaps the most powerful tool in the influence arsenal. The individual who remains calm and centered while others become reactive demonstrates a strength that others instinctively recognize and respect. This emotional mastery isn't about suppression or coldness. It's about developing the capacity to feel deeply while maintaining perspective and choice in how one responds. When someone can acknowledge another's emotional state without being pulled into it, they create a stabilizing presence that others find irresistibly attractive. The psychology of value creation forms another cornerstone of magnetic influence. Humans are naturally drawn to those who enhance their lives, whether through inspiration, entertainment, challenge, or support. The most influential individuals consistently look for ways to add value to every interaction, not through grand gestures, but through genuine attention, insightful observations, or simply by being fully present. They understand that influence is not about taking from others, but about giving in ways that naturally create reciprocal attraction. Understanding social dynamics requires recognizing the role of challenge and tension in creating attraction. Relationships without any element of challenge tend to become stagnant and predictable. The person who agrees with everything and never offers a different perspective, while pleasant, fails to stimulate the growth and excitement that keeps others engaged. Strategic disagreement, offering thoughtful opposition when it serves the relationship, creates the kind of intellectual and emotional friction that deepens connection over time. The concept of frame control represents one of the most sophisticated aspects of social influence. A frame is the context or perspective through which a situation is interpreted. The person who can establish and maintain their frame while remaining flexible enough to appreciate others' perspectives demonstrates a rare combination of strength and empathy. Frame control isn't about domination. It's about offering a compelling vision of reality that others want to participate in because it enhances their experience. Social proof operates as a powerful unconscious influence mechanism. When someone demonstrates that they're valued by others, it creates a psychological shortcut that suggests they must possess valuable qualities. However, the most sophisticated understanding of social proof goes beyond mere popularity. It involves demonstrating genuine connections with high-quality individuals who choose to associate with you based on mutual respect and shared values. The person who can attract and maintain relationships with remarkable people signals their own remarkable qualities without needing to explicitly state them. The timing of attention represents another crucial element in the influence equation. The individual who can modulate their attention, being fully present when engaged but comfortable withdrawing when appropriate, creates a natural rhythm that others find engaging. This isn't about playing games or being deliberately unavailable. It's about understanding that attention, like any valuable resource, should be given thoughtfully and received with appreciation. Body language and nonverbal communication carry far more weight in human interaction than most people realize. The way someone carries themselves, the quality of their eye contact, the rhythm of their speech, and their use of space all communicate volumes about their internal state and social value. The person who moves with purpose, maintains appropriate eye contact, and uses space confidently signals strength and self-assurance in ways that transcend verbal communication. The paradox of trying versus being forms a fundamental principle of authentic influence. The harder someone tries to be attractive or influential, the more forced and inauthentic they appear. True magnetism emerges from being genuinely comfortable with oneself while remaining genuinely interested in others. It's the difference between performing a role and embodying a way of being. Understanding these principles creates the foundation for ethical influence, the ability to naturally attract and inspire others while maintaining integrity and genuine care for their well-being. This approach to influence builds sustainable relationships based on mutual value creation rather than manipulation or exploitation. Part 2. The 10 psychological principles of magnetic presence. Building upon the foundational understanding of influence, we can identify 10 specific psychological principles that consistently create attraction and magnetic presence. These principles operate across all types of relationships and social contexts, representing fundamental aspects of human psychology rather than gender-specific tactics. The first principle revolves around the power of selective validation. When someone offers genuine appreciation and recognition sparingly and specifically, that validation becomes exponentially more meaningful than constant praise. The psychological mechanism here involves the intermittent reinforcement schedule, the same principle that makes gambling addictive. When positive feedback is unpredictable but genuine, it creates a powerful emotional response that maintains ongoing engagement. The key lies in learning to recognize and acknowledge genuine qualities in others while maintaining high standards for what merits recognition. The second principle centers on the creation of emotional contrast. Humans are naturally drawn to experiences that provide variety and stimulation. The person who can create moments of intense connection, followed by comfortable distance, serious conversation followed by playful banter, or challenge followed by support, keeps others emotionally engaged and anticipating the next interaction. This isn't about being erratic or moody. It's about understanding that emotional flatness, while safe, rarely creates lasting attraction. The third principle involves strategic vulnerability. Sharing personal challenges, fears, or failures in carefully chosen moments creates profound connection while demonstrating courage and authenticity. However, the timing and degree of vulnerability matter enormously. Premature or excessive vulnerability can create discomfort and signal emotional instability, while strategic vulnerability, sharing meaningful personal truths at moments when they serve the relationship, creates intimacy and trust. The most magnetic individuals understand that vulnerability is a gift to be given thoughtfully, not a default mode of interaction. The fourth principle relates to the demonstration of social intelligence. The person who can read social situations accurately, navigate complex group dynamics, and help others feel comfortable and included displays a form of intelligence that others find naturally attractive. Social intelligence involves understanding unspoken rules, recognizing emotional undercurrents, and adapting one's behavior to enhance rather than detract from group harmony. It's about being socially fluent in ways that make others' social experiences more enjoyable. The fifth principle encompasses the power of intellectual stimulation. Humans are drawn to those who challenge their thinking, introduce new perspectives, or help them see familiar things in new ways. The person who can engage others intellectually, through thoughtful questions, interesting observations, or novel connections between ideas, creates the kind of mental engagement that people remember and seek to repeat. This isn't about being academic or showing off knowledge. It's about being genuinely curious and helping others explore ideas they might not have considered. The sixth principle involves the creation of positive associations. The psychological concept of classical conditioning suggests that people develop feelings toward those who are consistently present during positive experiences. The individual who becomes associated with laughter, discovery, adventure, or personal growth naturally becomes someone others want to be around. This principle works by consistently adding value to others' experiences rather than being a neutral or negative presence in their lives. The seventh principle centers on the demonstration of competence and capability. Humans are naturally attracted to those who excel in areas they value, whether professional skills, creative abilities, physical capabilities, or emotional intelligence. However, the most attractive form of competence is that which appears effortless and is demonstrated through action rather than declaration. The person who quietly excels while remaining humble about their achievements creates intrigue and respect without triggering defensive reactions in others. The eighth principle involves the art of storytelling and narrative creation. The ability to reframe experiences, find meaning in challenges, and help others see their own lives as interesting stories creates powerful emotional connection. This isn't about being dramatic or fabricating experiences. It's about recognizing the inherent narrative structure in human experience and helping others appreciate the significance of their own journeys. The person who can help others see themselves as the hero of their own story provides a profound psychological gift. The ninth principle relates to the power of purposeful mystery. While authenticity is crucial, maintaining some aspects of one's life, thoughts, or past as gradually revealed secrets creates ongoing interest and anticipation. The key is ensuring that this mystery serves the relationship rather than creating distance or suspicion. It's about understanding that discovery is an ongoing process that should continue throughout any relationship, and that maintaining some aspects of oneself as yet unexplored creates anticipation and depth. The 10th principle encompasses the concept of emotional leadership. The person who can maintain composure during stress, find hope in difficult situations, and help others regulate their emotional states naturally becomes someone others rely upon and feel drawn toward. Emotional leadership isn't about suppressing one's own emotions or trying to control others. It's about developing the capacity to remain centered and resourceful, which creates a stabilizing influence that others find inherently attractive. These principles work synergistically, creating compound effects when applied consistently and authentically. The person who masters these psychological dynamics doesn't need to rely on tactics or manipulation because they develop genuine qualities that naturally attract and inspire others. They become someone others genuinely want to be around because interactions with them are consistently valuable, engaging, and growth-promoting. The ethical application of these principles requires genuine care for others' well-being and a commitment to mutual value creation. When used to enhance relationships and create positive experiences for all involved, these psychological insights become tools for building meaningful connections and inspiring personal growth in both oneself and others. Understanding these principles also provides insight into why certain individuals consistently attract others while appearing to make minimal effort. They've internalized these psychological dynamics to the point where they operate naturally and unconsciously, creating authentic magnetism that transcends any specific technique or approach. Part 3. The transformation of self. From weakness to unshakable strength. The journey from psychological vulnerability to unshakable inner strength represents perhaps the most profound transformation a human being can undergo. This metamorphosis isn't about becoming invulnerable or insensitive. It's about developing such a solid foundation of self-knowledge, purpose, and emotional resilience that external circumstances lose their power to destabilize one's core identity and emotional equilibrium. The process begins with radical self-honesty, an unflinching examination of one's true motivations, fears, and patterns of behavior. Most people live with elaborate self-deceptions that protect their ego but prevent genuine growth. The individual committed to transformation must develop the courage to see themselves clearly, acknowledging both strengths and weaknesses without the distorting filters of pride or shame. This self-awareness becomes the foundation upon which all other development rests. Understanding the nature of weakness proves crucial to transcending it. Psychological weakness typically manifests as excessive dependence on external validation, emotional reactivity to circumstances, avoidance of discomfort or challenge, and inability to maintain consistent standards and boundaries. The weak individual constantly seeks approval from others, allowing their sense of self-worth to fluctuate based on external feedback. They react emotionally to situations rather than responding thoughtfully, often making decisions based on immediate comfort rather than long-term benefit. The transformation process requires developing what psychologists term internal locus of control, the understanding that one's thoughts, emotions, and actions are ultimately self-determined rather than controlled by external circumstances. This shift in perspective represents one of the most liberating realizations a person can achieve. When someone truly internalizes that their response to any situation is their choice, they reclaim tremendous personal power. Building emotional resilience involves developing the capacity to experience difficult emotions without being overwhelmed by them. This isn't about emotional suppression or numbness. It's about increasing one's tolerance for discomfort while maintaining the ability to think clearly and act purposefully. The resilient individual feels disappointment without becoming hopeless. experiences anger without becoming destructive, and faces uncertainty without becoming paralyzed. The concept of outcome independence represents a crucial milestone in the journey to inner strength. When someone becomes genuinely indifferent to specific outcomes while remaining committed to their principles and efforts, they achieve a form of psychological freedom that others find magnetically attractive. This doesn't mean becoming apathetic or careless. It means caring deeply about one's actions and intentions while releasing attachment to results beyond one's control. Developing personal standards and boundaries that transcend social pressure requires tremendous courage and commitment. The strong individual establishes clear principles about how they will behave and what they will accept from others, then maintains these standards regardless of external pressure to compromise. This consistency creates trust in others and self-respect that becomes unshakable over time. The process of eliminating people-pleasing behaviors and developing authentic assertiveness represents one of the most challenging aspects of personal transformation. The individual accustomed to gaining approval through accommodation must learn to express their genuine thoughts and desires, even when doing so might create temporary discomfort or disagreement. This transition often feels dangerous because it challenges established relationship patterns, but it ultimately leads to more genuine and respectful connections. Physical disciplines play a crucial role in developing mental and emotional strength. Regular exercise, martial arts training, or other physical challenges create resilience that transfers to other areas of life. The person who can push through physical discomfort develops confidence in their ability to handle psychological discomfort. The discipline required to maintain physical fitness creates habits of self-discipline that enhance all other areas of personal development. Intellectual development forms another pillar of inner strength. The individual committed to continuous learning develops cognitive flexibility and depth that enables them to understand complex situations and respond thoughtfully rather than reactively. Reading challenging material, engaging with difficult ideas, and developing expertise in areas of genuine interest creates intellectual confidence that supports emotional resilience. Purpose and meaning provide the ultimate foundation for unshakable strength. When someone discovers or creates a sense of purpose that transcends their immediate comfort or pleasure, they develop a source of motivation and resilience that external circumstances cannot destroy. This purpose doesn't need to be grandiose. It might involve being an excellent parent, creating beautiful art, or contributing to their community, but it must be genuinely meaningful to the individual. The development of emotional independence represents the pinnacle of personal strength. The emotionally independent individual maintains their equilibrium regardless of how others treat them, finding their primary source of satisfaction in their own actions and character rather than in external validation. They can enjoy praise without becoming addicted to it, and handle criticism without becoming defensive or devastated. Mastering the art of strategic withdrawal teaches the powerful lesson that not every situation requires engagement. The strong individual knows when to walk away from arguments, relationships, or opportunities that don't serve their growth or align with their values. This selectivity about where they invest their energy makes their engagement more valuable when they do choose to participate. The transformed individual develops what might be called benevolent detachment, the ability to care about others without becoming enmeshed in their emotional dramas or taking responsibility for their choices. They can offer support and wisdom while maintaining healthy boundaries, creating relationships based on mutual respect rather than codependence or manipulation. Understanding the difference between confidence and arrogance becomes crucial for maintaining healthy relationships while embodying strength. Confidence is quiet self-assurance based on genuine competence and self-knowledge. Arrogance is insecurity masquerading as superiority. The truly strong individual has nothing to prove, and therefore doesn't need to diminish others to feel valuable. The journey to inner strength often involves periods of isolation and introspection as one sheds old patterns and develops new ones. This temporary withdrawal from social pressures and distractions allows for the deep internal work necessary for genuine transformation. However, the goal isn't permanent isolation, but rather the development of such internal solidity that one can engage with others from a position of strength rather than need. Financial independence, while not essential for personal strength, significantly supports psychological resilience. The individual who has developed the skills and discipline to support themselves financially has eliminated one major source of dependence and vulnerability. This economic foundation provides the freedom to make choices based on principles rather than survival fears. The development of multiple competencies creates resilience through diversification. The person who has developed skills in various areas, professional, creative, physical, social, cannot be devastated by setbacks in any single domain. This competency portfolio provides both practical benefits and psychological confidence. Learning to find satisfaction in the process rather than solely in outcomes represents a sophisticated form of emotional maturity. The strong individual enjoys the journey of growth and achievement rather than living only for destination moments. This process orientation makes them less vulnerable to disappointment and more consistently engaged with life. The ultimate goal of this transformation isn't invulnerability, but rather anti-fragility, the quality of becoming stronger through challenges rather than merely surviving them. The anti-fragile individual uses obstacles as opportunities for growth, setbacks as information for course correction, and criticism as data for self-improvement. When this transformation is complete, the individual has become truly attractive, not through techniques or strategies, but through the genuine strength of character that others instinctively recognize and respect. They no longer need external validation because they have developed unshakable internal validation. They no longer fear rejection because they have learned that their value isn't determined by others' opinions. They no longer seek to control others because they have mastered themselves. This level of personal development creates natural magnetism that transcends any specific relationship or social context. People are drawn to strength, authenticity, and purposefulness because these qualities are rare and valuable. The individual who embodies these characteristics becomes someone others want to be around, learn from, and connect with because interactions with them are consistently enriching and inspiring. The journey from weakness to strength is not a destination, but an ongoing process of growth and refinement. The strongest individuals maintain humility about their development, while continuing to challenge themselves and expand their capabilities. They understand that strength is not a fixed state, but a dynamic quality that requires ongoing cultivation and renewal. In conclusion, the development of unshakable inner strength represents the ultimate foundation for authentic influence and magnetic presence. When someone has done the deep work of understanding themselves, developing their capabilities, and aligning their actions with their values, they naturally become the kind of person others are drawn to and inspired by. This transformation benefits not only the individual but everyone whose life they touch, creating ripple effects of positive influence that extend far beyond any specific relationship or interaction. The person who has destroyed their weak self through conscious effort and disciplined growth cannot be destroyed by others because their sense of identity, worth, and purpose comes from within. They have become anti-fragile, using challenges as fuel for continued growth and serving as an inspiration for others who seek their own transformation from weakness to strength.